Are you guys good with this? You want it out some?
Yes, please. I don't think expressly yet from Israel, but we stand ready.
Come to the mic, guys.
Here, please.
Thank you. It's always a problem when I walk out. So what was the question?
Whether there's a need for help that was expressed.
I don't think there's been expressed help or expressed request from Israel yet, but we want to be ready. So whatever Israel wants, we should be prepared to help them.
Do you have a sense of whether that would be paired with aid for Ukraine or any other assistance?
I think the administration wants to pair them. No, I support both. You know, we forget that the Russians did a lot of the same stuff in many of the cities that they occupied. I mean, they raped, they murdered, and we got to remind the American people, too, that the Ukrainians were similar victims here. I support both, but I think it would be a mistake to bundle the two, but it sounds to me like the administration wants to put the two together. I think that'd be a mistake.
Did they give you a sense of how many Americans are in Israel and want to leave?
They said they're prepared to get people out. I didn't hear a number. So they have contingency plans right now to help people get out of Israel.
How important is it to get to a resolution on the speaker?
I think it's very important. First of all, I condemn the 8 people who did this to our party. We are sitting vacant in a time that there's a need. But we have to get a speaker in position. We need to support Israel right away. And we have a continuing resolution that's going to stop in mid-November. We got to fix this.
Have you chosen a candidate for speaker?
Yeah, I've always leaned towards Steve because he's been to our district multiple times. I've known him a long time. I did not know Jim as well. I would say this, though, Jim has done a very good job. Yesterday during the forum, I was very impressed. So my goal, well, he was not the Freedom Caucus guy yesterday. He was the guy who wants to represent everybody in our conference. I saw an American willing to take risks to solve problems. So I think my takeaway is whoever comes out on the majority today, we should get behind and get a speaker put in.
Where do you think things stand with the rules change? Will the rules be changed?
I think so, because we should have 217 votes before we go on the floor. Doing 15 votes like we did in January was not wise, and we look bad. So I think we should fix that ahead of time.
In terms of the hostages, should there be some sort of rescue mission undertaken by
I think
the United States and allied nations?
If we have intelligence where they're at, we should work with Israel to help rescue them. I know we have experts in the country now if they need our help. But whatever Israel wants, they should ask us, and we should be there to try to help.
Did they give you any sort of sense of what the plans are for the operation against Gaza that have been anticipated?
No.
They didn't identify.
No.
Did they give you any sort of sense?
I do think this. We all support. Hamas has to be crushed. They got to be destroyed. Their leadership needs to be killed or captured, and all the folks who are guilty of what happened this past week, they need to be held responsible. I just think about 1,200 Israelis were murdered. It's savage. It's just terrible. 40 babies yesterday in one village were found.
What did they say about Iran?
Well, that's where I disagree with this administration. They don't have clarity of Iran's role. Anybody with any intelligence knows Iran is behind this. They arm Hamas. They have the IRGC in Gaza, which is it's an arm of the Iranian military. It's clear as day that Iran made this possible, helped them, but yet the administration's in denial. I mean, I heard that in there. They're not sure of Iran's role. BS. Anybody with a brain knows Iran's behind this, and I guarantee you, Netanyahu is thinking this isn't just Hamas. This is also Iran. So I'm worried about an expansion of a conflict. But the fact is, if I was Israel and knowing Iran's behind this, you got to consider how you retaliate against them.
Did they talk at all about Qatar and Turkey, which have also harbored Hamas leaders?
We did not talk about that in there, but you're right. I have some mixed feelings about Qatar. Qatar has 2 of the biggest bases, military bases, in their country. I mean, I flew out of Al Udeid as an Air Force guy. But yet their comments on Hamas were wrong. To side with Hamas after 1,200 Israelis get butchered. So I would ask Qatar to reconsider their position because that puts us in a bad spot. I mean, I'm grateful for the bases they have there, but their statements were immoral at best. It's just wrong.
Carson, did they talk at all about how the attack impacted efforts to normalize Saudi-Israeli relations?
We didn't talk about it, but it obviously has an impact. To me, it's for us and Israel, a warming of relations with Saudi Arabia is a very good thing, right? There's no doubt that Iran wants to undermine that. Iran wants to undermine Saudi Arabia and their regime. So, but they didn't talk about it, but clearly that there's a correlation there. So anyway, thank you. I got to go to another meeting. I appreciate it.
Real quick.